How about you in decisions? How are decisions for you to make, Mitch? Do you make decisions easily or you take time? Do you decide intuitively? Do you consider yourself analytic? How do you consider yourself, Mitch, when you take decisions?
I consider myself an analytic type. Actually, I am an ENTP. But well, I always try to analyze all the possibilities and take me a lot of time to make a decision, thinking or trying the other possibilities that which will be better. And the final step, I choose the one that benefit myself more than the others, but it take me a lot of time.
Well, yeah, in particular, if you're very analytic and you have a lot of possibilities, it becomes like a computer, right? You go processing all the possibilities and you discard the possibilities which are not attractive or interesting or valuable or worthy. And you consider the opportunities that become more interesting, more available, more profitable, etc. Very good. How about you, Mickey? Do you consider yourself intuitive, analytical, balanced? How are you in your decision making?
Uh, Sometimes for me it's hard to make a decision, but all depends of the or the context of the decision. Um, I consider that I'm intuitive,
Intuitive, okay.
yeah, intuitive. Um, and not, I don't think that I am the best person to take decisions, but I'm learning some some things to be better in that.
Very interesting. Let me share something with you here. The name of this booklet is Sources of Power: How People Make Decisions. And this is a good author, Gary Klein, is German origin. And let's take a quick look at the index. Let's begin with number one. Can you read two lines and then you alternate? For example, Mitch reads one and two, then Mickey three and four, and so forth, please.
Yeah. One, chronologically, the strengths used in making difficult decisions. Number two, learning from firefighters.
Okay, thank you, Mickey.
The recognition primed decision model, the power of intuition.
Okay,
Number five, the power of mental simulation. Number six, the Bindsness shutdown.
this is shutdown. All right, Mickey.
Mental simulation and decision making, the power to spot leverage points.
Okay.
Number nine, non-linear aspects of problem solving. Number 10, the power to see them visible.
Uh, could you scroll down a little bit?
Yes,
Sure.
yes.
Thank you. The power of stories and the power of metaphors and analogs.
Number 13, the power of the teen mind. Number 14, the power, the power of the teen mind. Number 14, the power of the teen mind. Oh.
Okay, thanks.
The power of rational analysis and the problem of hyper-rationality. And 16, why good people make poor decisions.
Okay, this is an interesting chapter. Actually, do you think good people sometimes make poor decisions or bad decisions? If that, so why do you think that happens?
Yes, I think that sometimes that happens because I think that the good people always trust in the other people, and maybe the other people not is too good. And for example, in cases of deal with another person and make poor decisions because they trust a lot.
So do you believe that good people tend to be naive or too innocent?
Yes, sometimes.
Yes.
Now, why the term, which is not exactly true, but we say that bad people are cunning, which is the same as astute. Why they have the reputation of being cunning, astute? Why this reputation? Why do we think that bad people are cunning or astute? Why is that? Do you think it's out of experience, out of a personal curse? Why do we think that, Mitch?
I don't think the a lot of most of them are bad people. Well, because when how can I explain? If someone wants to get a lot of money, try to cover all the pieces or leads that to don't get. I,
Yes,
sorry,
I hear you. I hear you.
I have to organize some small more ideas. Now,
Well, let's begin with it. Do you believe this statement is true, or is partially true, or is not accurate?
not accurate, partially true, I guess. Bad people or good people are can be the both of the adjectives that you showing us here.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. There can be good people who are very cunning, very astute. Yes, you're right. And there can be bad people who are very innocent or naive. So it's not necessarily true that a good person is naive or innocent. But and also it's not necessarily true that innocent people or naive people are good. Because, for example, you can damage a business. Let's suppose that you work in a factory, in a car company, and I tell you, Mitch, I'm gonna take the car for a ride. Is that okay with you? And you say, yeah, any protection, any security? No, no, no. I trust you. And I go and I take the car and I go away with the car. And then the company loses because of naivete, right? Because we are being very innocent. So that doesn't mean that we are good. It means that we were a little bit careless, probably.
Yeah.
But there is a stereotype that bad people are cunning. Maybe it's a stereotype. What do you think about this comment, Mickey?
Mm, I think that yeah, maybe not all the bad people are cunning, and maybe not the good people are naive. But there exists this stereotype, and I think that is partially true because the bad people normally take advantage of others.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Now, there are stereotypes which go with society, not only with one person or with a family, but with society. Um, for example, I was listening to an audio in German the other day. It's very basic, but it says something like money is good, work is good, prosperity is good, success is good. You feel satisfied if you have money. You feel happy if you have money. You are okay if you have power, etc. And that contrasted a little bit with my childhood beliefs when I was in a school, in a primary school, and the director said to us, if you want to conquer heaven, you need to be poor. And that idea has damaged our society, I think, right? So the Germans are just as religious as we are, right? Germans are just as religious people as we Mexicans are. However, why do they have these programming sentences that say money is good, success is good, happiness is good? And here in primary school, at least to me, they said to us, uh, rich people don't get to heaven. Why these two totally opposing phrases? Why do you think this situation exists in Mexico
Mm,
or
yeah,
existed?
because there exists the idea that the rich people, the majority of times are people selfish, and here in the Catholicism, for example, in the Bible say that the poor is gonna go to the heaven, and maybe we have like this on mind.
Okay, but they emphasize it too much. They put emphasis on that over and over and over. Why not saying like here the German audios say that money is good and if you can help other people, if you have money, you want to express your fraternity to other people, well, become powerful and you will be able to help them more, right?
Yeah.
And that way, as a society, we will become stronger, help each other more. I mean, how can I help my friends more? With money or with no money? With power or with no power? If I have more power, I can help more people, obviously.
Mhm.
Consequently, it is good that people become strong, powerful, and be able to help their friends. What do you think about that, Mitch?
If someone have power can help more people.
Yes, yes, yes. If you want to help people, right? Well, what is more convenient for you? To have resources, to have a good economy, to have power, or to have little power, a poor economy, or be poor? How can you help your friends, your family more?
Okay, if I have power and a lot of money, I guess first of all, I'm gonna see for myself if my economy gonna be good for me, for my children, or etc. And then I think we would be great to help people
Yes,
in person.
right.
Because they need it. If I really don't need so many power, I can. If I have power, I can get influence, and I can promote. I don't know how to say campaigns,
Campaigns, yes.
uh-huh, to those kind of. Sorry,
Of issues.
those kind of issues, problems, and I guess all depends of the morality of the person. If they gonna be selfish or gonna be, I don't know how to say solidario o empático.
Faithful, or with solidarity, or solidarious.
Yeah, and that's it.
Okay. Very good. Let's take a quick look at this question. Why good people make poor decisions? Let's read it a little bit uh, and read a little bit of this. Can you read the first paragraph, Mickey, and then Mitch, you read the second, please?
Yes, sure. Um, why could people make poor decisions? Poor outcomes are different from poor decisions. The best decision possible given the knowledge available can still turn out unhappily. I am interested only in the cases where we regret the way we made the decision, not the outcome. I define a poor decision. Where we regret the process we used in the following way, a person will consider a decision to be poor if the knowledge gained will lead to a different decision if a similar situation arose. Simply knowing that the outcome was observable would not matter. No, knowing what you failed to consider would matter.
Okay. Let's read one second paragraph, Mitch, please, and then we discuss them.
Can you scroll down more,
Yes,
please?
yes.
Okay, those who favor analytical approach to decision making believe poor decisions are caused by biases in the way we think. Naturalistic decision making researchers disagree. We tend to reject the idea of faulty reasoning and try to show that poor decisions are caused by factors such as lack of experience, the decision bias. Explanation is the more widespread and popular view, so we will examine it first. What means widespread, teacher?
Widespread, that is expanded, scattered, that has been disseminated, that it has been expanded or disseminated.
Okay. And biases?
Biases, biases,
Biases.
natural inclinations. You have a natural inclination. For example, let me give you an example. And this is the key of this idea. Let's suppose, let's choose two people. Let's choose Poncho and Pancho, right? Poncho, he is a very quiet guy. He likes security. All his decisions are based on being safe, right? He wants to be safe above all. He doesn't like risks. He doesn't want to have adventures. He plays safe every time. So if there is an opportunity of winning $1 million, but he has to risk a lot, or he was going to make $100,000, but he has no risk, he's going to choose the riskless decision, right? He avoids risk. So his bias, he is safety bias. He has a bias, an
Precavido.
inclination, right? Whereas Pancho is just the opposite, right? Pancho, he loves risk. He loves risk. He is adventurous. Adventurous. He has no fear of losing. All right, so he is risk biased. He is risk biased. Well, according to this chapter, according to this chapter, we think that we made bad decisions because we lack experience, but not because we have an inclination to some type of situations, risk, safety, comfort, discomfort, excitement, calm, um, entertaining, boredom, etc. So what he tries to say here is that, on the other hand, we make decisions, poor decisions, because we sometimes may have some biases. Probably, I'm going to choose all the decisions that involve safety, even if the required position, required situation, given situation requires that I take some risk, right? So these biases will give you a tendency to decide in a specific way. That's what the chapter is about. So let's read a little bit of it and discuss it if we agree or not. So, Mickey, can you read the first paragraph, please?
Yes, sure. Are poor decisions caused by biased thinking? Kahneman, Slovic, and Tversky in 1982 present a range of studies showing that decision makers use a variety of heuristics, simple procedures that usually produce an answer but are not foolproof. The studies, the studies showed that in making judgments, we rely on information that is more readily available and appears more representative of the situation. We usually store analysis with known facts and make adjustments from this.
Okay. As a parenthesis, Kahneman is the guy who wrote a fantastic book named The Think Fast, Think Slow. Let me see if I have it here. Thinking Fast, yeah, this book. Kahneman wrote this book, which is an amazing book on how we think, how we make decisions, right? And he thinks exactly that, what he says, right? That we sometimes have biases, that we don't make decisions objectively, right? Like a computer. On the contrary, that we have some natural inclinations. You tend to decide on a color. You're gonna buy a car, but because the car is red, you think I'm gonna buy that car. Well, but the quality is terrible. I don't care. I'm exaggerating, right? But this color is red, so I love that car. Or you're gonna buy a motorcycle, or you're gonna buy a computer. But because the computer has these characteristics, you like always Japanese products. You say, I'm gonna buy a Toshiba computer, but probably the Hewlett Packard is better. I don't know. But if you have, for example, in my case, I know that I have this bias. I tend to buy any Japanese products over American or German products. It's a bias that I have. Is it correct? Probably not. But I have this bias. I recognize it, right?
An inclination.
An inclination. That's what it is, Mitch. An
Oh,
inclination.
perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yes, let's read the second and third paragraphs, Mickey, because the second is very short.
Yes, sure. Kahneman, Slavik, and Tversky designed their studies so that the heuristics they were trying to demonstrate would lead towards performance. The rationale was that the heuristics were so powerful that their solvers would use them even if it meant more errors. The studies used tasks in which probabilities could be calculated in advance, allowing the researchers to set up. Teacher, could you scroll down a little bit? Thank you. Objective standards performance. The research strategy was not to demonstrate how poorly we make judgments, but to use this finding to uncover.
To uncover the cognitive processes.
The cognitive processes underlying judgments of likelihood.
Okay. Um, so you call yourself intuitive, Mickey, more or less intuitive, right? And Mitch calls herself more analytical. Okay, give me an example, please, of this. Let's see if we all agree to this. Mickey, intuitive, more intuitive. Let's call it bias intuitive.
Mhm.
Intuitive bias, not always, but an inclination. You have an intuitive bias, and Mitch has an analytical bias. Give us an example, Mitch, in which you made a decision analytically, please. Any
I
decision.
think a big one. It's something that is happening to me right now that I have to analyze a really big decision about my college. If I gonna stay in the instituto or if I'm gonna change the school because about the things that I want to do in the future. It took me a lot of time, a lot of things that I have to learn to try to avoid or reach my dreams well. And then I was considering all the possibilities that I have if I'm staying in the instituto. I think I, I, I can learn a lot of things out or another place a part of the instituto, and the instituto can help me to conserve my friends or have connections with other careers to try to um, try to structure more my plan of life. Well, I'm still on it. I'm still considering all the possibilities. I still have some months to thinking about it so well, but I guess my bias could be stay in the instituto and learning the other things and other places.
Okay, well, your bias would be to decide analytically, which I think is great. And actually, both are great. It's just a natural thinking process. And the way you're making the decision, important decisions, is the normal one, and actually is the best way to decide. I believe, well, according to the experts, because you pass the considerations through a strong scrutiny. Let's develop your example if it's okay with you. Which are the considerations, Mickey, that people make when choosing a career? What or a school? What are the typical considerations?
Maybe uh, maybe in the career, how much money can gain.
When you finish, right?
Yes.
Or
Maybe
all right.
maybe in which city is the school?
Okay, the location of the school, right? Location of the school or university, right?
Hmm.
What else, Mitch? Mickey, what else, Mitch, can you consider when you make a
If
decision
they
of
gonna be happy doing that,
happy with what? Because happy is very general. Happy with the infrastructure, with installations, with the classmates, with
if
the teachers.
no, if they enjoy their job when they end the career, if they enjoy their job doing the thing that they study, would be better than anything I have.
Of course, that's very important. Yeah, that's, I believe that is basic. That's what I told my daughters when they said, well, I want to study gastronomy. I said, gastronomy?
Hmm.
How come gastronomy? I enjoy it. I love it. Well, okay. And then Sophie said to me, I want to study contemporary music. No, but your mom is an engineer. I'm an engineer, but I want to study music. I enjoy that. Oh, I said, no, well, okay, it's your decision. I respect it. She broke my heart, but I said, well, that's what you want to study. Okay. If anytime in the future you don't like it and you want to change careers, okay, I support you. If of course, if I have the resources, which I hope I will. But if that's what she wants, I support her. If she has like a justification, I ask her, what is your plan? How do you plan to make money? Of course, how do you promote your services, which is something that I think Mickey and other people do, right? They promote the services of artists. So I asked her lots of questions. Don't think that I just asked her one or two. So, but what you're saying, which is incredibly important, that it must be enjoyable. What else?
Um,
If are that kind of job in the country, or if they can go in another country, maybe.
Okay, that's an important comment too.
if
Or
you have money to study that
if
career.
the study cost of tuition cost, and if they're within the country or abroad, right? If you have the money to study that, or the family has it. What else is important when you, I think I should put this in other categories here, right? You need to be happy. You must make sure that the work is available where you study. What other considerations do you make when you decide on a career?
I think the most important is the going to be happy because if you put passion or I don't know how to say passion, tienes pasión
Passion,
to
yes.
if you have passion in the thing that you are doing, the money gonna come back to you easily. Yeah, or
Right.
if you are good at it, or if you have the aptitude to do the thing that you are studying, the same thing you're gonna maybe love it, or in the money gonna be for their way.
Okay, one consideration that I didn't make when I decided on choosing my career, which is the same career that your dad has, was how easy it would be to become an entrepreneur, to start your own small business. If you study to become a lawyer, well, probably you want to have your own consulting office, right? If you are a lawyer, you want to have your own consulting office. If you become a doctor, probably in the future, if your dad or your grandpa or your uncle are medical doctors, probably you will have your own clinic. But when I decided on choosing engineering, electronics, and communication, I never thought of this. And it's incredibly difficult that you start up Motorola or a Hewlett Packard company or a Tesla company if you don't have the infrastructure or the technology, etc. So in that sense, it was a bad decision that I said, well, I didn't think of that, right?
Yeah.
But well, you make errors all the time, right? People make errors all the time. But that was an important issue too. Is it
And teacher,
easy? Yes.
do you regret of study that?
No, I don't regret it. I don't regret it because I made a life, I made a career that eventually changed, right? I started studying that, then I went to the industry. I worked for Siemens 6 years, then I went to Ariba, that I worked for 1 more year, and then I went to um, another company here in Irapuato, and I worked for 6 months. So in total, like 10 years of my professional life, I applied what I studied. Um, I don't regret it. Now, as I was mentioning in this moment, Mickey, I'm being offered I've got an interesting offer, which is connected with my job, with my studies, with the university that I studied, with the degree that I studied. It's more or less connected. Yeah, it's connected. And I say, well, I don't regret it, but I would have made a better decision if I had more elements, if I had made more questions, if I had made what Mitch is doing in this moment. I think Mitch is doing exactly the correct process to make a good decision. I made it very quickly, very intuitively, and I didn't consider many things which are important. Like, for example, uh, if it is easy to start your own business, right? Is it easy? Because now, well, I have a small language center, which is my small business, right? It's not very large, but it's mine, and I'm very happy with it. So is it easy to, well, for me, it was important. Maybe for other people, they can work in a company all their life, and that's good, right? But I didn't consider that. Is it easy to start your own business or company? If it is, like for example, if you study law, it's more or less easy to start your own consulting company, right? But to start an electronics company is incredibly complicated in terms of infrastructure, money, knowledge, experience, etc. But it's a good sport, and some people do it. Some people have devote themselves to building machines, devote themselves to building circuits or small equipment.
Mhm.
But it's a minority. Yes, yes, Mitch.
Sorry, I'm asking if you enjoy the things that you are doing. I guess yes, no?
Very much, very much. I
That's the
absolutely
thing.
love them. I am making my books now. I have 6 books of English. We have the language center. I've been able to travel to a couple of places, and because of the language, I've been able to communicate with people from Germany, from France, from the US, from Canada. So I'm incredibly happy. But for instance, I didn't study languages.
Mm.
I studied them outside the university. And it was a great acquisition of the language. It opened all the doors of all the jobs that I had, right? Even the work in Siemens was because I spoke a decent English back then. So they said to me, they didn't ask me for any certification or nothing. Just said, okay, we're going to give you an interview in English. Yeah, are you ready? Yes. And we had a conversation, very good conversation. They said, you know what? You're hired. You're in. So, and it was more important at that time to speak good English than to have a very good technical knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? But I didn't follow the process that Mitch is doing in this moment, which I believe is incredibly important. I don't know
Me,
if you think other elements need to be considered. Tuition costs, happy with an enjoyable job, location, how much money you can earn. Is it easy to start your own company? Well, this is my consideration. I don't know, but if for you it is important at some point in the future, Mitch, to have your own business. Is it important for you or not so important? You're happy working for a company.
Well, I think that thing I'm a well could be great, but I'm not considered it as um, the priority.
Priority.
Can be the same as fun if I join in a company that do the things for the things that I'm studying, that I'm learning. I think would be exactly the same fun, the
Okay,
same enjoyable.
very nice. What else did you consider when you chose your career, Mickey? What other
mm,
aspects?
well, actually, I think that my problem was to analyze a lot because I was overthinking each aspect, and that's why I didn't know exactly what I wanted to study. So I'm not the best person to answer that question.
But you still had to make a decision. You already made your decision.
Yes, and in this moment, I don't regret.
You don't regret it. Fantastic, fantastic.
But
So
maybe
you,
if you asked the same question to me a year ago, maybe I could tell you that yes, I regret it. But now in this moment, no.
so you are more or less satisfied with the decision that you made.
Yes, right now, yes.
Okay. Well, that's truly interesting. That's truly interesting. Well, I wanted to do this because knowing the considerations that people have in mind when they make a decision more or less clarifies the process in which you make those decisions. As you said, some people decide intuitively and they make good decisions. I decided intuitively. It was a more or less good decision, but there were lots of surprises. And that's what happens when you decide intuitively, that you have lots of surprises. Some of them will be nice, excuse me, some others will not, some others will not. But that is part of life, right?
Yeah, of course.
Whereas in the case of Mitch, probably there are not so much surprises, but the consideration time is longer. which is not a bad thing if you have the time, right? Because normally time is a constraint, normally, a constraint. Do you agree with that, Mitch, or not, Mickey?
What means constraint?
Restriction.
Restriction.
Yeah, it's a
Ah,
constraint. You don't
absolutely.
have, yeah,
I
you're right.
want. I always want to do a lot of things all the time, but the time flies, and that sucks.
That sucks. Yeah, that's true. And that's why we say that time is not usually, always a constraint because time is limited.
Yep.
Okay, very
Yeah,
good.
that's right.
You agree, right, Mickey?
Mhm.
Well, let's read just one little bit more. Let's read this part about because of this strategy, please.
Mitch.
Uh, because of this strategy, many professionals have interpreted this research demonstrating biases, not just heuristics. The research strategy has become known as the heuristic and biases paradigm. Today, more than 2,000 decision biases have been identified. Many researchers interpret this research as showing that people are inherently biased and will means control. What means that, teacher? Means control.
Misconstrue, you build the evidence to justify your decision and not vice versa. You
Okay,
will
okay.
build your evidence to justify your decision.
Okay. Mean control evidence, therefore, decision errors, and what means therefore?
Consequently, as a result,
Okay. Therefore, decision errors will be caused by these biases. Decision training programs, such as the one present by Jay Rousseau and Paul Strockmaker in their book Decision Tracks 1981, were designed to reduce the influence of decision bias. The erratics and biases school is active and influential, particularly in the United States and Great Britain, but it is also coming under attack now.
very good. Okay, let's read this example. The next paragraph, Nikki, please, about an interesting example.
Yes, sir. Lola Lopez in 1991 has shown that the original studies did not demonstrate biases in the common use of the term. For example, Kahneman and Tversky, 1973, used questions such as this. Consider the letter R. Is R more likely to appear in the first position of a word or the third position of a word? The example taps into our heuristic of ability. We have an easier time recalling words that begin with R than words with R in the third position. Most people answer that R is more likely to occur in the first position. This is incorrect. It shows how we rely on availability.
Yeah, that is a bias, although we believe that we don't have it. For example, let's do an exercise really quick, really quick. Tell me, please mention some words beginning with the letter R, please.
Uh, run,
Run,
Okay,
raspberry,
raspberry,
rest,
uh,
red,
red,
restaurant,
restaurant,
uh,
ray
rope,
is a word.
which?
rope,
Ray, Riy is a word.
Ray, yes, right. A-Y, Ray,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Rock,
uh,
Rock, read,
read,
rod,
rock,
rip off, like tear a piece of paper, rip off the paper, right? Like this is rip off. I rip off the paper, right? Rip
Yeah.
off, etc. There are lots of words that begin with R in our memory, in our mind. Now let's write words with R in the third position.
In the
Um,
third position,
Yes,
could be car.
card
car,
or yeah, tardiness, tortoise, tarantula.
What is star, teacher? Because I said car.
Car. Okay, so car,
But
car
what
is
is star?
chapopote.
Ah,
Car. I'm sorry.
turquoise,
Tortoise. Yes, is there.
turquoise,
How do you spell that?
Turquoise.
Turquoise. Yes. Turquoise.
Yes.
Perfect. Turquoise. That's true. Turquoise. Well, look, we have a lot.
Drum,
From yes, because of the age. From torpedo. Torpedo.
art.
Which?
Art.
Well, look, we're almost even. We're almost even. So there are many words that have the R in the third position. But then the question is, if what is easier for you? What is more common? More common. The letter R in the first position or in the third? What do you think?
I think that in the third.
and
In
the
the
third
third.
too.
Is more common. Well, that is correct according to this book. Most people answer that R is more likely to occur in the first position, and this is incorrect. So Mitch and Mickey, you are both correct. But many people respond that the R in the first position is more common. Probably they
Because
don't
of
have
the word run or thread, because as the word's more common in the life, run or thread.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's easier probably. We took less time. Don't you think that we took less time to put this list? Or you think it was about the same time?
I think the second one was faster.
You think this was faster?
No, I think that the first one was faster.
I also thought, but we didn't take time, right? But why do people believe that the R in the first position is more common or more likely to occur than in the third? Because it's more available in their minds. It's more available. It's closer to their feeling, to their knowledge. So this represents a bias, right? Bias. This is a bias, an inclination, because the R is available in your brain more often in the first, not for you too or for me, but for the generality of people, it is more common to have the R in this position. Well, according to this book, that is a way we decide, we make decisions, right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Let me see if there is another example. Okay, look at the explanation that Lopez gives. Can you read this? The next paragraph, I think, is Mitch or Mickey. Who's next to read?
Me.
Okay, Mitch, please.
Lopez points out that examples such as the one using the letter R were carefully chosen of the 20 possible consonants. 12 are more common in the first position, Kahneman and Tversky Tversky, and 1973 used today that are more common in the third position. They use stimuli only, where there are availability. Irresistible result in a wrong answer. Several studies found that decision biases are reduced if the study includes contextual factors that the heuristic biases do not occur in experienced decision makers working in natural settings.
Okay. The next paragraph is really interesting because it gives you something that is commonly known as the how is the word in English? When you make a decision, when you think something, the natural tendency is to consolidate, to confirm. Is the confirmation bias. For example, I I chose, let's say that I chose engineering electronics.
Yeah.
Engineering in electronics is normal for me or for any person to find a justification, justify the decision instead of finding other possible alternatives. It's easier for people like me or any person like that make any decision to say, oh, electronics, technology is always evolving, technology is in evolution, electronics is a fantastic career, you have lots of companies in it. It's normal to justify the decision rather than being more objective, right? Than saying, okay, probably a civil engineer has a constructing company more easily than an electronics engineer. Probably a medical doctor can have a clinic more easily than an electricity. It's easier to justify the decision. That is a common thing. That is another bias. That is the idea of this paragraph here, Mickey. Can you read it, please?
Yes, sure. Um, there is an irony here. One of the primary biases is confirmation bias, the search for information that confirms your hypothesis, even though you will learn more by searching for evidence that might disconfirm it. The confirmation bias has been shown in many laboratory studies and has not been found in a number of studies conducted in natural settings. So,
Yes?
sorry, teacher.
That's okay. Sure.
Um, Yet one of the most common statistics of scientific research is to derive a prediction from a favorite theory and test it to show that it's accurate. Thereby strengthening the reputation of that theory. Continue.
Yes, please.
Scientists search for confirmation all the time, even though that philosophers of science such as Karl Popper, 1959, have urged scientists to try instead to disconfirm their favorite theories. Researchers working in the heuristics and biases paradigm condemn these sort of bias in their subjects, even as those same
Research.
researchers perform more laboratory studies confirming their theories.
Okay, so basically what it says is that it is more useful when you make a decision, this is the implication of this comment. Make a decision, and then you can attack it rather than defend it. It's more useful for you that you, your friends, the family attack your decision, challenge your decision. You don't use the word attack, you use the word challenge. For example, I ate a chocolate cake. I can justify it. If I defend it, I can let's attack it and let's defend it. Let's attack this decision. I ate a chocolate cake in the morning. Let's defend
Defend or attack?
or attack. Okay, let's attack it first. Or I'm sorry, let's
Maybe
defend it first. Justify that it was a good decision. How do you justify this decision, Mickey?
I defended because the chocolate is delicious, gives you energy, the sugar can make you happy in some way. Uh,
You
and
need to
that's
eat
it.
some.
You
You
need
need to
what?
eat. You need to eat.
Yes, of course.
Mm, all is delicious. You need to eat. It's just one chocolate cake.
Just one what?
One chocolate cake.
Okay, I was really craving for it. Craving is antojo, right? I was really craving for it. Okay, so you defend it. And now let's attack it. Let's challenge.
Um,
Maybe that thing has a lot of calories.
has a lot of sugar.
The sugar can kill you.
Okay.
Mm,
You really paid a lot of money for that.
Okay.
There are chocolates more delicious than that one.
Okay. So what we are doing is that we are challenging the decision. And this can be done by myself, uh, self-criticism, positive criticism, but still is self-criticism. Family, friends, peers, teachers, co-workers, etc. According to this book, according to this book, it says that people have were sent is to try to disconfirm their favorite theories. In other words, there is a confirmation bias, and it's actually a common strategy in scientific research in strengthening the reputation of that theory. So, what it basically says is that it's more useful to check your decision by challenging it than by defending it or justifying it. You can justify your decision, but actually it's better to challenge it, to have more to check the soundness of the decision, right?
yes,
That
true.
is negative confirmation. So justify, defend, justify, attack or challenge. What do you think about this theory? Of course, you can disagree. What do you think about this theory, Mickey, Mitch?
Well, it's hard because there exist a lot of theories. Actually, I read one of Sigmund Freud. Uh, he said that the persons don't know why they choose or why they act of uh, well, that they don't know how they act or how they or why they choose that. That we choose that, and maybe and later we create like a story to reconfirm why we choose that, but sometimes we don't know. And
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
he makes how do you say experiment.
Experiment. Okay.
Yeah, he hypnotized. How do you say hypnotizar?
Hypnotize. Hypnotized.
Hypnotize. Yeah, he hypnotized a person, and and he in the hypnotize tell to the person that he needs to open the window, but he didn't know why. He's hypnotized, and when he applied the hypnotized, the person stand up and open the window, and Freud asks to him, "Why do you open the window?" And actually, he didn't know why, but he started to create a story that no, it's because here is a lot of heat. Yes, do you say calor heat?
Heat, yes.
Yeah, and he starts to create that story, and 10 people. I think that the experiment was with 10 people, and all the people create a story different.
A different story.
Yeah.
Wow, that is impressive. That's a very nice experiment.
What do you think of that, teacher?
Well, that's precisely what we're reading here, that we tend to justify our decisions creating stories rather than challenging our own stories.
Yeah.
Probably, and I admit, I didn't even have enough elements when I chose my career. I didn't have enough elements. I just said, engineering in electronics sounds nice. It's a nice name, engineer. I was daydreaming. I thought, well, some applications in the car companies, in power companies, in avionics, etc. Well, sounds good. Let's go for it. But I didn't do the analysis that Mitch is doing now.
Yeah.
So, what did I do later? I justified my decision. I never said it was a bad decision or a quick decision. I never admitted that. I said, oh, everything is electronics now. There are many great companies in electronics. This I started to justify, to create stories
Yeah.
when the most correct would have been to challenge my decision. And if it resisted the attack, if it resists the attack, that means that the decision is a good decision, right? But
Yes,
if it
that's
does
true.
not resist it, probably I needed to admit, oh, you know what, I made a bad decision. I need to rethink the whole process of choosing a career.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was what you wanted to ask, but Mitch, what do you have to say about this?
About the thing that people don't usually analyze why they doing the thing that they doing.
Yes, they not only not analyze them, they not only not analyze, but they also try to defend, like the example Mickey just gave, that we try to justify to create stories. And not only under hypnosis, Mickey, not only when you're hypnotized, also when you're awake, when you're totally
Mhm.
conscious, you also
Yes.
justify your decisions normally. So that is the question, Mitch. If you, what do you
Maybe,
think?
maybe usually the people has the ego, or I don't know how to say that.
Ego.
The ego more really high, and we can recognize our errors. Then we uh, are finding us or sharing the all the possibilities that can support or gave us the thing that hey, I'm do a good decision. Maybe they didn't recognize their error, never, but well, they don't wanna feel so bad with themselves. Um, I think everything gonna when everyone gonna sorry, try to share all the possibilities that we need to do better decision in the futures.
You're totally true, Mitch. Absolutely true. We don't want to have the pain. We want to avoid the pain of admitting that we made a bad decision. Right? Oh, I made a bad decision. Oh, I feel so bad. We don't want to suffer that pain, right? Consequently, it's
Mhm.
easier to just justify a decision, even if it was a wrong decision. Do you think, Mickey, it is a good idea to challenge any decision, or some decisions shouldn't be challenged? What do you think about that?
Yes, sure. I think that is necessary to challenge our decisions because, well, past to me that when I didn't want to challenge my own decisions was because I knew that maybe no was the better decision to make, and I think that is necessary to affront that.
Okay, very, very good. What do you think about that, Mitch? What do you think about what Mickey said?
There's the same thing. I think we every day it is a challenge, and we have to. mm I don't know how to say aprovecharlos. Take
Take,
advantage.
take
Take
advantage,
advantage
yes.
all the possibilities that we have and that we create um, uh, to reach our goals.
Fantastic. That seems like you took it from a book, like you wrote a book. That's great. Yeah, make sure opportunities that we have and create to reach our goals. Okay, so just to summarize, which are the best ways, which is the best way to make a decision, and then to check if it was a good decision, if necessary, reconsider it. What is the way we should do it? Let's say that I pose a question and you guys, like if we are in a forum, in a congress, and we're discussing the way we make decisions and confirm or modify our decisions. How would you say we make a decision and we confirm or modify our decisions, Miki? What would be your summary?
Mm, I think that we need to analyze why we think what we think, and why we choose something in special. The the best way to really confirm that it's a good decision or a bad decision is when you start to analyze each aspect and see if it's good for you and know it's only like a wish that you have.
Okay. What do you do once you have taken that decision? Once you have made that decision, how do you confirm if it was a good decision, or modify it or change your path, your way?
Mm, I think that, well, of course, when you make a decision, you need to uh, wait some time to really check if it's good, if it was good for you or it wasn't.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Mickey. Mitch, how would you make a summary of this topic, decision making and confirmation? How would you
What
make
summary?
a
Resume?
summary, resume?
Um, we always have to analyze all our possibilities to do great decisions and reach our goals. So,
Okay. And then to confirm if your decision was correct, you need to wait some time. Do you want to challenge it? Do you do it with the help of friends, family, experts? How do you confirm
uh,
if the decision was good or not?
what think about my college or what else?
Anything, any decision in general, any decision.
Well, I guess depends. I usually analyze it for myself, or sometimes my friends help me, and that's it. But I repeat, I have to consider all my possibilities that I have to do a good decision for the future.
Okay, very nice. Fantastic. Well, let me share this book with you guys. I'm going to share this book because I believe it is a good book. It may become useful if you eventually want to glance through it, take a look at it. Let me send it to you. The name is,
Sure.
yes, sir.
Well, I want to read books, but I don't want to read in the computer. Um, do you think that is the same if you read a book or if you listen? I want to read in English. That's why I have in the computer.
Um, yeah, should be the same. Should be no
Yes.
different. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because you're grasping information, and two ways to acquire information is by listening or through reading. So if you prefer to listen, that's just as good.
Yes, that's why because my eyes sometimes when I'm a lot of time in the computer
Yes,
start like hurt a little bit.
of
How do you say
course.
are
Yes.
that?
They there is a more specific. Don't remember the word, but there is a similar word which is hurt,
Yeah, my eyes start to hurt.
soar. They are soaring,
Oh,
soaring,
sorry.
soaring. Yes.
Because there are a lot of well, there are some books that you send to us,
Yes.
and I want to read, but in the computer sometimes it's hard to me.
Absolutely, yes. Well, now they have these audiobooks. Let's see if we can find audio books, decision making. I'm starting to do the same, Mickey. It's becoming easier for me to listen
Hmm.
than just, for example, here, I'll share. I just Googled decision making and I got here an audiobooks, knowledge and decision making, the art of decision making.
Yeah.
So you see lots of resources, decision making. Uh, so there are lots and lots of information that you can Google and search and use for your benefit. If you prefer to listen, and I'm starting to prefer listening to reading,
Hmm.
go ahead. It's just as good. It's just the same.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, actually, let me send you this audiobook. Seems to be good. I haven't heard it. I have not seen it, but it looks good. It's 8 hours, so you can listen to 1 hour every day, and in 8 days you have this book. I'll send it to you in a moment.
Thank you,
Here.
teacher.
Okay.
Yes, actually, I'm listening the how to successful people think
Okay.
of John Maxwell. I like it.
Yeah, and you get to practice the listening too, with the
Hmm.
natural accent, sometimes from Canada, sometimes from the US, sometimes from England.
Yeah.
So that is a good habit, listening to audiobooks in English. And it's better, Mitch, I like it better than listening to songs. Yeah, listening to songs, it's okay. I don't say it's bad, it's okay. But more productive, better for you is to listen to a specific topic in English
Mm-hmm.
because you're focusing your
Definitely.
mind.
Yeah.
You agree, Mitch?
Definitely, huh?
Okay. Well, today we spent most of the time on the topic. We didn't go to the grammar book, but if you can do some more exercises of the grammar book, and maybe Tuesday we check them. How about that?
Okay, teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the homework. I think that was the page. Wait me a little bit.
What?
Um, yeah, we had for homework.
What page was
The page
that?
15 and the exercise H and I.
Let me open there. Okay, here. Let's see. Okay, here. It was page 50.
15? Yes.
Here, let me share the screen. Okay, here, page 50. 50 or 15?
I think that it was 15.
50. Vocabulary. Exercise E, okay. Okay, what do you have in the first line?
Wait a minute, sure.
What do you have in number 1? It's not always easy to. Is this?
I think that I did the incorrect page.
Which one? Before this?
Was the exercise H and I?
H and I. Oh, okay. H and I, all right. Let's see. This one here?
Yes.
All right, so what do you have in number 1?
Wait a minute, sure. Or can I send you my photo?
Oh, yes, of course.
Mhm.
Okay, yes. You want to send it to WhatsApp?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Well, if you wish, we can do this. You send the homework to me through the WhatsApp, and I check it, and we give you feedback next week, next Tuesday or Wednesday. If
Okay,
you
sure.
go out or do something on Tuesday, we can rearrange the session for maybe Wednesday and Friday. What about that?
It's okay.
Or Wednesday and Thursday, whatever you think is better. Is that okay with you, Mitch? Because the next
For,
Tuesday is the festive day.
oh, that's true.
So
Yeah,
maybe
it's okay
we,
if could be Wednesday and Thursday, I think.
that's
Wednesday
fine
or
with me.
Thursday?
Is it okay with you too, Mitch?
Yeah.
Well, let's do that then, Nikki. Just please send me a proposed schedule, maybe the same for Wednesday, and we just fix Thursday, which is not a problem. Anytime you tell me after, maybe, well, tell me the time, please, for Thursday.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, guys, well, I want to thank you for your time, your participation, constant and positive, proactive.
Okay.
See you next week. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much, teacher.
Thanks so
Bye-bye.
much, teacher, for your time in the class.
Thank you. Thank you, Mitch, Mickey.
A
See you.
wonderful weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.